All right, so hello again. So in this video, we are going to go over how to make a prototype in inVision. So inVision is an online service that allows you to create a few different types of projects, but what we're going to be looking at is a prototype. What is a prototype? So here is an example of what we're going to do. I'm going to click on View Prototype here, and then I'll click on View Screen. And I have this wireframe here. You can use wireframes or comps or mockups for in inVision. It doesn't matter which stage of the design you're in. It depends, whether you're going to use wireframes or comps. But what it's good at is making these prototypes. So this just looks like a wireframe, right? But I can click on this page here, and then it goes to that page or that screen. And then I click here, and it goes to that screen. I click here, and it goes to that screen. So really, what it does is it kind of makes a working version or mock-up of your wireframes or your comps. That's kind of what it's for. It does some other things too. It's kind of made for collaboration. It allows you to show your work to other people. Allows you to have people look at it and comment on it. Just to give you a little tour, down here at the bottom, you can see there's some sort of breadcrumb navigation. You can see if I click here, I'll see all the pages in this prototype. If I click here, I'll go backwards up to that portfolio site or the site itself, and then I click here, I'll go all the way back to the inVision site. If I move over to the middle, I've got three buttons down here. One is preview mode, which we're in now. I have a build mode where I create my hotspots. So you see it says create hotspots. Really kind of the way this works mostly is like old school image maps. If you know what that is, maybe you heard about it from me. But it's a way to make links inside of an image. So that's kind of what's going on here. You're just kind of clicking in an image and navigating with it. There's also a comment mode, which I'll probably show you as well. There's an inspect mode, which is more for developers to get access to some of the styles or design elements. So for instance, colors and things like that. That's kind of new at this point in this video. And there's also a history mode, where you can see different versions of the design in case you want to revert or go back to different versions. Over here on the right, you can see there is a social share mode where you can share it on social platforms if you like to get abused by trolls and social media. There's an upload screen, which I'll show you how to upload in a second. And the configuration settings and screen status, things like that. This is freehand, which is another type of project, which I'll show you in a second. And there's a share button down here in the bottom right. So I'm going to go back to the front page here. This is where my projects are stored. And you can see up here you have prototypes, boards, freehands, and favorites. So I'm going to go up here and click on this plus here, and that's where you can make a new project. So the three kinds of projects are a prototype, which is what we're making, which is a mock-up of a design. It can be a web design, it could be an app, whatever you want. There's also freehand, which is a kind of a whiteboard functionality where you can draw on things and collaborate in real time. And then there's also a board that you can make, which you can make a mood board. Some people call them a design story, collection of ideas or elements, kind of like a scrap book that you can keep to work on your design with. But we are going to do a prototype. So I'm going to click on Create New Prototype. And I'm going to name this Mark 1 because I have no creativity left in my body, and I'll just use my name all the time. And down here you can see the different sort of templates that you can use. Sorry about that. I had to cough up a little piece of winter. It might happen again. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. So you can see there's all kinds of templates here. There's desktop, iPhones, Android phones, wearables, things like that. We're just going to stick with desktop and click Next. And then what you're going to see is two ways to import, basically, in this screen anyway. inVision does have pretty good integration with Sketch. This is the icon for Sketch and Photoshop here. So there's plugins you can get for both of those that will port the assets directly from those apps into Sketch. Or into inVision, sorry. So there's a link to the plugins. We're not going to do it that way. We're going to actually do it this way with this drag and drop because that's how we're going to do it. That's why we're doing it that way. So I'm going to go to this folder here that I have some wireframes in and just drag those there. and you can see they show up right away. So here's my 3 wireframes. If I roll over there, I get some buttons that show up and some menus and things, delete, archive, duplicate, things like that. I can click on view screen. I can also go over here and click on this circle, which I'm not even sure what that does. I don't care, but that's what happens. So I'm gonna go to, I think this is the main page of the portfolio here. I'm gonna click on view screen and it opens like this. You see there's some arrows here, which can navigate through the different screens if you want. But right now we're in preview mode, so we want to go to build mode. So I go down here and click on the build button or hit B on your keyboard, and now we're in the build mode. So like I said, basically what we're gonna do is make hotspots. You can see up here it says 0 hotspots, a template applied, but I also don't have any hotspots in there, so that makes sense. I'm gonna go ahead and click and drag. You see it says click and drag to create hotspots right there. If I can zoom in on that, yeah, there we go. And I'm gonna click and drag around where it says home there. And by default, the hotspot is blue. You can click on that and drag it around if you messed it up, or you can just hit delete. Well, I'm still in this dialog, but you can click on it to drag it around to move it if you want, or you can resize it right there, I think. But you get this popover that says where you want that link to go to. So if I click on this drop down, you'll see a lot of different options there. You can go to another point in the same screen, link backwards, do an overlay, which is a different feature that you probably see in another video, maybe from inVision. You can go previous or next. You can even go to an external website, but what we're gonna do is go to our portfolio screens, right? So as I roll over those, it gives you a nice little thumbnail of those screens. So this is the screen that we're on. It says this screen right there, portfolio index. So I'm just gonna click on that. I could click save and it would be fine and it would work. But since my 3 wireframes are all the same layout with the navigation all in the same place along the top, I can use a template to save a little bit of time. You don't have to use a template, but if you don't use a template, you have to go on every page and add the hotspots manually, pretty much. If I use a template, then I can apply a template to other screens, and then those hotspots will be in the same position and they will link to the same places. Now it depends if your navigation moves around or it changes or your design changes, a significant amount, then there's probably no point in using a template. But if it's the same, like mine are, where the same layout on every page and the navigation is all across the same position, then you could do a template. It's up to you, depends on your situation. Okay, so I'm gonna go down here where it says include hotspot and template. And then I'm gonna create a new template since I don't have one here. So I'm gonna create new, and I'll call it Mark Template 1, because I have no imagination again, and I keep saying that, no imagination. And I'll click save, so now I've got a template, and then I click save to actually save the hotspot. So that's it. So I've got that in there. Now you can see the hotspot change from blue to green, so that's an indicator that it's a template. If I look up here at the top, it says 1 hotspot template applied. If I click on that drop down, you'll see there's my template right there. Don't know why that's highlighted, but so there we go. So I'm actually gonna put in 2 more, the other 2 links here. I'm gonna click and drag around here, around where it says bio. I'm going to link obviously to the bio page, and I'm gonna click on include hotspot and template again. And there's my template, it's already in there. So I don't have to create a new template. I just use that one, Mark Template 1, and I'll click Save. And then I will click around Gallery and drag and make my last hotspot. And that one links to the gallery, right? And then I'm gonna include the hotspot again, and the same template again, and click Save. And I am basically done. That's too easy. Wow, that was easy. So now I'm gonna go, if I go to, click on preview. If I click on that, if I click on bio, it actually goes to the bio page. Now I don't have hotspots on these pages because I didn't do that yet, right? So this doesn't work anymore. So I'm gonna go back to my project here and open those other 2 pages and do those. So I'm gonna go to the bio page. Here's the bio page. I'll click on view screen. Then I'll go to build mode down here at the bottom again. and it says 0 hotspot templates applied. So I can use my template. Since my navigation, again, is all in the same spot, I'll use the template. So I will click on that, and I will check next to mark template 1, and boom, those hotspots appear, and I am good, I think, actually. So that is good. I'm going to go back to my main screen here and go to, oops, sorry, I'm in the wrong one here. I'm supposed to be in view 1. And I'm going to go to, I think the gallery is the one we haven't done, right? And then we go to build again, apply the template again. And I think we're done. So I'm going to go to preview mode. And now if I click on the links, they all work, right? So I'm navigating. Now you can probably notice that I broke a rule of UX, didn't I? This is called bacon here, and now when I click on that, it's called home. You should have the same label in there. So don't do what I do what I say. Make the label the same. But anyway, if I click on these, it navigates between those 3 pages. That's great, right? So there we go. We made a working prototype of that site. So I just wanted to show you quickly how you could include or share this and get comments and things or input from other team members or me or whatever, right? So I'm going to click on the share button down here in the bottom right. And all I'm going to do down here, I can send through inVision to other people in inVision and that kind of thing, or I could import contacts or send by email address. But I'm just going to go down here where it says share this project via a public share link. So I'm going to click on that. And I copied it to the clipboard. You can see if I go on link settings right here, I get these different options for link settings. I can say allow commenting on screens, and that is already on. So I want that. And then it says allow access to all screens in prototype. That is also on. So you could password protect. You can turn different parts on and off, whatever you want. But that's kind of what I wanted already to show you. So what I'm going to do, I'll close that out. I'm going to go to a different browser that's not logged in, I don't think. And maybe it is. Let's see. Vision. So here I am in inVision, and I'm going to paste that. Actually, I'm just going to paste that link that I just copied up here into the URL bar. And this would be how someone would see your project if they are not the author. So you can see down here at the bottom, you don't have all these buttons, but you do have a comment button, right? So it says 0 comments. I can click on this button down here that says off and click and change it to on. And now we're in comment mode. And you can see this, you get this pretty fuchsia kind of pinkish line around there. And I can click on anywhere I want now. It says click to leave a comment. I'll click here and I'll say, this is terrible. You are fired. Man, I hate that guy. Fired, file. There we go. This is terrible. You are fired. I guess this is somebody in government wrote this. So I'm going to click post, and you can see that it's checked and it's put, and it has this little badge here. If I click on that, you can see the comment. So I'm going to go back to my actual login for my account as the author, and I will go back to Mark 1 here, and then here we are back in Mark 1. I'm going to click on, can't remember which screen that was on. Do you guys remember? Pop quiz. It was on the home screen, the portfolio page. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the home page, view the screen, and I should have, I'm going to refresh here. And then I'm going to click down here on comment mode. There we go. And if I click on comment mode, I can say, oh, somebody put a comment in here. I wonder what it says. And if I click on it, it says, this is terrible, you are fired. So this is the point where I pack up my desk and I go home, I guess. So there you go. So there is how you can make a portfolio or make a prototype of a portfolio or whatever site you want in inVision. Share it, get horrible comments, get fired, and all that kind of fun stuff. All right, so I think that's it for this one, and I will see you next time.